to think the poor side of Coachella, you guys made me have no FOMO whatsoever. There was one girl I was following who waited 3 hours in line for a shower, and then she got food poisoning, and then spiders hatched in her fan. She said it was like 85 degrees, and a family of spiders hatched in her fan. So thanks to poor Coachella.
This is the real view of Coachella that you don't often see online. I've been on the floor like this for the last few hours.
If you're not going to Coachella and you feel really left out, let me tell you why you shouldn't. As someone who went as a normal person and not as an influencer, it was one of the worst concert experiences I've ever had. If you're not going as an influencer, you don't have your entire trip paid for, and Coachella costs like thousands of dollars.
I did not know if I was going to make it to Coachella this year.
Yes, you did. You're literally a content creator with 1 million followers and probably hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I don't know.
I've been craving spicy pie literally all day, so that's what we're gonna get. So good. I've literally been waiting for this all day.
You guys, I had a night. I came to sleep and at 3:40, I woke up to my stomach like burning.
Coachella is in so many ways a microcosm of America, really just showing the difference between those who have and those who have not. And today we're just really going to be diving into the mess that Coachella was this year, especially for those in poor Coachella, which kind of is an interesting concept, right? Because I think some people can't comprehend the fact that, yeah, not everybody who goes to Coachella is rich. Y'all forgot about buy now, pay later, credit cards, debt. Like, people are going into debt to go to this festival. If you don't know what Coachella is, it's basically this massive music festival. They have a lot of really big headliners every year. I'm talking like huge artists. It is, I think, really the music festival out of music festivals. Now, one of the hallmarks of Coachella and one of the things that makes it, I think, really interesting is the fact that it is kind of held on like this field in Southern California. And car camping is a big thing. It's also a very expensive thing, unfortunately. There's also like tiers to this camping as well, because not everybody is living like that last picture I showed you. If you are willing to just throw away a couple $1,000s, you are going to get something kind of similar to this. There's like safari camping tents. There's all type of other camping tents. And influencers will get like basically flew out, have their own little villa, have their own little mansion. But while they're enjoying their multi-million-dollar villas, Airbnbs that cost tens of thousands of dollars, people were literally going through it. Getting food poisoning, jumping over rivers of literal human shit, and just suffering in general. Like, I just cannot comprehend how bad it could get. So if you're wondering how I ended up going into the rabbit hole of just how insane and just how unhinged this year's Coachella was, I saw this video and you have to see it too now because it's actually crazy.
I was in the crowd for weekend 2 at Coachella for Justin Bieber. And when I tell you, every time the wind would blow in my face, I would legit smell what I thought to be was throw up. It was so unbearable, like so unbearable. I'm trying to listen to Justin. I keep smelling throw up. So what do? Got my little perfume, spray, rub. This was me the whole time at Justin Bieber. Brother, tell me why this is not real. I go on TikTok and on my For You page, bro, what's wrong with people? Someone went diarrhea.
What is going on? Like,
why is it already stinking? Oh my goodness, it already stink.
I saw this TikTok and I was like, what was going on in the pit? Like, what was going on in the crowd? Why are people doing this? Is it just the fact, you know, that people are waiting for 10 hours or whatever for showtimes? And we'll get to that. But is it that they don't want to lose their spot or whatever? And I don't know. It's just disgusting. And I feel like it's also just a health hazard. Like, I don't know. Is that a health hazard? Is that dangerous? Regardless of that, it's just really disgusting.
Someone went diarrhea while watching Justin Bieber. That was what I was smelling the whole time. I'm sick. Yeah, so I'm pretty sick to my stomach after seeing that. Bro, mind you, someone literally posted like a full-on video of this diarrhea too. Like, bruh, no one wants to see that diarrhea.
Not everything needs to be shared. Not everything is a shareable moment. Not for her, but the person who posted that, that's actually gross. Sorry, I have to look at these comments. Just remember, if you smell it, molecules of it are inside of you. That's actually, don't talk about that. That's disgusting. She smelt it too, home on my couch. Yeah, I also never really heard someone say it like that before. It was props from the pizza. We're going to get into the pizza. I have a whole section dedicated to the pizza at Coachella because people were getting sick from the pizza allegedly, and it was bad. Just after that, I was like looking into the prices once more because I'm like, wow, we're paying to smell someone's actual shit in front of us. And the prices are actually kind of insane. So this is like a normal person kind of explaining how much money they spent for Coachella. And I was just like, wow, this is a lot of money.
This is a price breakdown of what I spent at Coachella 2026 as a normal person who didn't get anything for free. Okay, starting off with my wristband, I paid $698 for just a general wristband, and I got that resale from like a friend. Next, my accommodations, I did powered car camping again, and I split that with my boyfriend and I, and we each paid $365.
So if you didn't split that, that would be like $600. That's insane. I'm sorry. And also, yeah, like I was saying, the resale value is probably what you're going to pay.
So yeah, $1,700, that obviously is a lot of money. I think people work really hard all year round to be able to afford this weekend, and it's totally worth it in my opinion.
But yeah, I just kind of wanted to, I guess, give a little bit of a price breakdown because it's not just the general admission wristbands. It's not just, the prices we saw on the website. It's also the fact that you're probably not going to get them as soon as they sell. You're probably also going to have to fight with people to get the tickets, and resellers can just literally scalp you. And that's a whole like deep dive. But yeah, there's a lot of other expenses for this. And the reason why I also am emphasizing this is because there's a little bit of discourse about whether or not the term poor Coachella is appropriate. I think there's a lot of debate that can go into that regardless because, there are people who literally don't have homes, etc. But I do feel like there are people who are not ultra wealthy who are able to go to this music festival, who maybe just live in California, live in the area, don't have to pay for airfare, or if they do, they just really budget and kind of plan for this over the year. So the fact that all this stuff is happening, I think, becomes more disappointing given that fact. Someone said I stayed in Jamaica for $1,500. Car camping is $700. $1,700 for 1 weekend is insane. People literally showing their travel receipts saying like, hey, I traveled like out of the country and it was less expensive than that. The reason I bring these prices up is because Coachella really was founded following a band's protest against high concert ticket prices and service fees. So I do find that kind of crazy. And I'm not making this up, I promise. In 1993, Pearl Jam performed for almost 25,000 fans at the Empire Polo Club. The site was selected because the band refused to play in Los Angeles as a result of a dispute with Ticketmaster over service charges applied to ticket purchases. The show established the Polo Club's suitability for large-scale events. In 1999, they finally had their festival. And tickets were only $50. Now, $50 back then is worth $99.10, but I do find it kind of interesting and funny how, like, even though it's like, oh, things are more expensive due to inflation, I mean, let me ask the audience, are the ticket prices $99 or $500? And I did find this article on iHeart, which I thought was interesting. In 1999, they put their first one on for $50 a day, $65 a day, $70 a day, $75 a day, or $140 a day for both days. You can just slowly see it raising, going up to $85, $85 and $249, $90 and $269, $269, $400. I do feel like Coachella also is kind of reminiscent of a lot of the gripes that people have with the music industry and kind of just how concerts have really just become unaffordable. As this person says, forgive me for complaining, but I genuinely love live music and it's starting to feel like live shows are something only rich people can afford. Back in the day, you could grab tickets for like $50 to $80. Now everything is $200 after fees, even for relatively unknown artists. That's even if you can get tickets. Half the time they're sold out before general sales even start. And especially with events like Coachella that are very big, very bold, very praised, and kind of very ubiquitously wanted, it's kind of like you're literally just fighting for your life to get tickets. It becomes like this whole like I think, really exploitative economy where people can literally make their entire incomes off of just basically scamming people and saying, okay, I bought this ticket instantly using a bot or whatever, so now I'm just going to sell it back to you very expensively. I do want to say, again, I know it's like kind of the commentary like, oh, constant disclaimer, but like literally people are going to be in my comments talking about y'all can't enjoy anything. Y'all hate people going to live music. Y'all hate when people spend their money on things. I'm not telling anybody how to spend their money. I'm literally just saying, this is insane that you're paying this much and the experience is this. But yeah, people online are also kind of defending this. And I'm just like, the corporations have really dug into our brains and made us think that like, yes, this is worth it. We should be paying more. You know, in fact, we should be paying more. Coachella is actually affordable. I find it strange that every year the conversation about how expensive Coachella is weasels its way back into the internet dialogue. Personally, I think $650 for 3 days of live music with over 100 live performances and bands putting on some of the best shows of their lives is a pretty decent deal, at least in the current live music economy. They list the artists they were able to see. The average cost per set was about $32. Every artist here is charging $32.50 for a ticket to their show. When I bring my lodging, we're about $70 per set, which is still pretty decent. It's always going to be an issue of people who haven't been to Coachella or can't do math. And then there are some people kind of pushing back saying the actual ticket price is fine, it's the hotel lodging. I think there's also really been a big shift in how we view music festivals and how we view concerts and how we view, I think, art in general as kind of a luxury expense, as something that you are going to have to spend months and months and months, like the average person, months and months and months planning for, paying for in advance, doing these payment plans, basically going into debt to enjoy and support your favorite artists. And also it's kind of moved from oh, I really hope my fans support XYZ to these people are going to spend this regardless. So how much money can we get out of them? At least from a corporate lens, because I do think a lot of artists probably aren't as vocal about it because it is kind of like, okay, that's their money and they don't want to bite the hand that feeds them. As we saw from the constant increases in price throughout the years for Coachella, I think even disproportionate to inflation, them just getting greedy. I think we're going the wrong direction. And I think things need to switch around and flip around. I did find this article, sorry about the ads, kind of just showing where the profit margin is, 68 million. And it kind of says, while substantial, this highlights the complexity and false and financial risk of these hosting events of this magnitude. Because yes, I know they do have a lot of expenses. A lot of these are from the artists, but also they do have, money, a lot of money coming in from the tickets, millions and millions of dollars. They're just going to have to do with $50 million of profit, money that most people will never see in their lifetime. Whoa, that's so sad. I'm sorry. They can cut the prices a little bit. I also saw this other article. In 1976, concert tickets cost less than $10. Now they can go for thousands. What happened? Even people like Elton John were charging $10 a show, which is roughly about $58 today. It says Ticketmaster, which was founded in Arizona in 1976, would also end up becoming the business that most people blame for artists' outrageously expensive concerts. Since then, the company has merged with entertainment company Live Nation, creating what some dub a monopoly in the ticket business. Basically, they said, there's a list of myths about the company. A primary ticket company gets only about 5%, a figure far too low to be the cause of high ticket prices. Because yeah, a company being a monopoly and kind of just taking over the live ticketing business and there not really being that much substantial competition, that's totally not contributing to the fact that concert tickets have gone up insanely. But yeah, we are going to move on into talking first about the food poisoning and the pizza. I do just kind of want to show you a little bit of the good food, because there was good food here. A lot of people really do kind of marvel about the food at Coachella. It's kind of a thing. People will go to these different food stands. There's a lot of vendors, different types of food. A lot of people say it's really good, and this does look really good. But now on the other side, you have food that looks like it was not really fully cooked at all. Medium rare chicken. The company did respond and was like, hey, please check your DMs. And she said they offered her a $100 gift card, which wouldn't even cover the meal 2 times. That not covering the meal 2 times is crazy. That means it was $50. And I also think that's another thing to note, because the food at Coachella apparently is also very, very, very expensive and unaffordable. And as we were discussing earlier, as people had already mentioned, the pizza was a particular problem dish, with a lot of people reporting that the pizza they got was causing, let's just say, symptoms. I don't necessarily know if this is the same exact pizza, but I'm assuming it is. And it seems like the pizza was kind of unreasonably priced.
2 pizzas and a lemonade for $40.
So yeah, again, people talking about the other expenses being more insane than the ticket prices. Yeah, when a pizza is $40, that's kind of crazy. Now here's a little like compilation of people who said that they had basically gotten sick from the pizza or gotten sick and then connected it to the pizza. And we're also going to see that other people were just, maybe it wasn't necessarily from the pizza, but a lot of people were sick during Coachella, which I think is like kind of disgusting, dangerous, health hazard, question mark.
That pizza place was already so disorganized and like forgot my order so many times, and I wanted pepperoni pizza, but that was the most popular piece, and so I had to wait for them to keep making more. And I don't know if they were rushing it. I don't know. I don't want to assume, but
I've been craving spicy pie literally all day, so that's what we're gonna get. So good. I've literally been waiting for this all day.
You guys, I had a night. I came to sleep and at 3:40 I woke up to my stomach like burning. I like ran to the bathrooms and I was there for like an hour, but everything's okay now. I think I might have gotten food poisoning.
We say 1 through 10. It better not be raw because the girl before me, she said, girl, that's raw. I said, ooh. What you mean? Got my score to 7.5. Some of the edges raw.
Maybe it's just me, but I've never really heard of people getting food poisoning from a pizza. Like maybe if it was like, you know, the chicken we saw earlier, I'm like the pepperonis generally are already at least cooked or safe to eat raw. Well, not raw, but you know, they're in a package. And I guess the only thing is the dough, but it's like, that means you're literally just not cooking it long enough. And I feel like pizza is kind of like, I don't know, it's like not really that hard to like time it right. Now, some people were saying that they did have good experiences at Spicy Pie. Someone said, weekend 1 human here to share my beautiful experience. The Spicy Pie is absolute BS. And I'm guessing they're confusing with another spot called Forever Pie, which is interesting because it might be Forever Pie. Now, I did see that one of the influencers specifically said Spicy Pie, but I don't know. There might be a confusion there. I ate Spicy Pie all 3 days, and their influencers standing out their one stand in a festival telling everyone not to order because their friend got sick. I actually laughed because I knew they were wrong. They kept saying the pizza was $25. I paid $12. Taking a pizza spot that only has one stand at Coachella and the best pricing is actually evil. So, I don't know. I'll leave it to y'all. I'm going to look into... I'm not going to lie. I did do extra research just to make sure. The Spicy Pie pictures I was seeing posted on their page did look similar to what the second girl ate. I have no idea what about the first person, but I also do think it's kind of important to, you know, have nuance in these situations, right? And yeah, people are literally in their comments talking about, hey, there's articles online saying Spicy Pie is literally making people crap themselves. And there's not really like, I don't know. I don't think they should necessarily have to address it if it's not them, but it's like they're just not really saying anything, which is kind of interesting. I did want to also like point to this comment. This seems like more like neurovirus and food poisoning. In big crowded events, it spreads easily through shared surfaces and poor hand hygiene. It's super common and gets mistaken for food poisoning a lot. I do feel like if that's the issue, then it's also concerning to me. So like, I don't know. I feel like there should be more effort taken in like making sure that people have access to things like sinks, especially like I was saying, when you're in a very confined space with like thousands of people, I feel like that's a health hazard question mark. So, and now while we're still talking about the poor side of Coachella, I did want to talk about the camping, which certainly just seems like a very interesting experience. It just seems like hot, a little bit miserable. You're outside. Like I did see some people with like full tent setups, but like, I don't know. This seems like a lot. You've got someone else literally saying that their whole tent basically just flew away and they woke up out in the hot sun. So yeah. Now, in addition to the food and kind of, I don't know, the little outbreak of whatever that was, let's talk about the amenities because the showers, the bathrooms just seem absolutely terrible. Ew. Okay, that's nasty. Like literally just wall to wall, out in the open. People saying, yeah, I'm fine with Homechella. The steam gotta feel nasty. I did not hear the fart. People are saying they heard a fart. I didn't hear that. Maybe I'm tweaking. Sorry, but I just stay dirty. I know it was humid. This is why people bring portable showers. I'd still feel dirty. The thing that really gets me is like the ground being disgusting and dirty. Like, you have to bring some shower shoes or something, or else you're going to come back with something that you're not going to like. I also do have to talk about the kind of, I guess it's called like a barricade run, where basically once they open the gates for a certain show, people just run straight to the front. And it's just an experience that I have to show you. She's like, we made barricade. People are coughing and throwing up from the run. They're handing out water, minus 10 hours until showtime. So yeah, some people are literally sitting out 10 hours just to be able to get to the front. This is like kind of what the whole like little process looks like. You're running, and it just seems like it's just so far. Like, this is a lot to run, in my opinion. That is quite a long way to run. This literally goes on for like a full minute. I'm not even joking. Then they finally make to the barricade. You just also have things like this, which seem absolutely disgusting. Throwback to when you could only get to the Sahara stage by crossing a river of shit and piss water flowing from the porta potties. So I'm leaning more into like the neurovirus theory, because this is absolutely nasty. This is disgusting. People are fully dipping. Like, that's nasty. Before we enter Influencerchella and kind of what the influencers had going on, I did want to talk about the Airbnb situation, because apparently people were having their Airbnbs canceled. Yeah. Which I think is incredibly greedy. They'd see their Airbnbs be canceled, relisted for more expensive prices. That just seems like absolutely horrible. Like, and I'm talking about like these people were already spending, I think, a lot of money on lodging. At work and your Airbnb gets canceled less than a month before Coachella, and all the available Airbnbs are over 20K.
At work right now, but I just found out that our Coachella Airbnb just canceled 2 days before our stay with a group of 10 people.
And just the group of 10 just shows how expensive this was. The fact that they had to split it over 10 people. Getting canceled 2 days before is insane.
Literally don't know whether to cry or throw up or both. A crash out is definitely incoming, but I wanted to post this just in case anyone knew what I could do. And if this has happened to anybody else, like, I genuinely am in shock. Like, I can't not go.
Someone said if they were posted to a higher price, report them to Airbnb. Even Hilton said, if you're still needing a place to stay, we got you. You know, I hate to little simp for a corporation, but this is good social media work, y'all. Like, y'all kind of ate this. This should be illegal. This is like the 10,000th video of someone saying this. And, you know, there is a whole discourse around the Airbnb thing, whether Airbnbs are better than hotels. I think it really depends on who you get as an Airbnb owner, because some of them be having like those insane rules, like telling you that you can only do this certain thing, have you check out insanely early while still having a whole task list for you to do. And just this is like the cherry on top of the cake that's making me like, okay, I'm low-key gonna stick with the hotel. Like, this is crazy. And this should literally be illegal. It's just straight up greed. Y'all are just price gouging people. Everything is becoming for the ultra rich and nothing is for us. Like, we can't even have a little Coachella house. Like, sorry, we can't even have a little like lodging. Like, what? Now, as we dig into the controversies kind of in between, I did want to call this out because a lot of people are like, oh, I don't mind going to Coachella. I don't mind paying in Coachella. Turns out the owner of Coachella is MAGA. And I just think that's very interesting because kind of the artists he books are usually more, you know, progressive, or at least not openly MAGA. And it's just an interesting, I guess, contradiction between the things that he seems to support and what happens at Coachella. Meet Philip Onschutz, the very conservative boss of progressive Coachella. He's known as the man who owns LA, owner of the city's hockey and soccer franchises, of the arena that hosts the legendary Lakers, and many hotels, cinemas, and restaurants. Thanks to regular donations between 2010 and 2017, the powerful patron of Donald Trump and the Republican Party funded organizations such as the Alliance Defending Freedom, the National Christian Foundation, and the Family Research Council, notorious for campaigning for the enactment of anti-LGBT laws. Basically, he was boycotted by some celebrities and his own staff. And then he eventually pleaded that he didn't know, along with $1 million donation. But while he made that $1 million donation to the Elton John Foundation, he was also found to make donations to evangelical institutions promoting LGBT discrimination, such as Colorado Christian University, whose charter states that, quote, no one shall teach, defend, support, or condone homosexuality. I did just want to look into what FERC was. It's an activist group and think tank with an affiliated lobbying organization. It promotes family values, lobbies against access to things like stem cell research, abortion, divorce. Divorce is too woke, guys. LGBT rights, anti-discrimination laws, same-sex civil unions, and LGBT adoption. Basically, they falsely conflate being gay to liking kids, which is very, very, very weird. I think it's insane that this type of stuff is normalized and this is a think tank. And then when you ever like say anything, it's like, you guys are attacking my free speech, blah, 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 blah. Like, you guys are being hateful. And it's like, yeah, there's literally a whole like normalized level of hatred in society. And y'all just act like that's normal and cute. And you can just donate thousands of dollars to that organization. I also found this. Coachella's parent company is donating major cash to a political organization pushing an anti-abortion agenda. Basically, it gave $75,000 to the Republican Attorney General Association days after Roe v. Wade was overturned. After Roe v. Wade was overturned, the Republicans Attorney General Association reached out and said, every donation will help Republican attorneys general combat the Democrats' pro-abortion agenda. They're trying to say, oh, we didn't know what that was. He believes in a woman's right to choose. Well, he's certainly, in my opinion, supporting causes that have not been supporting a woman's right to choose, or anyone's right to choose for that matter. Like, even if you're supporting these terrible policies, please just stand 10 toes down and say, yes, I support this. Like, why are we trying to, oh, I don't know about this. What? Yeah, no. As you all know, while us peasants, are staying in our little huts, the influencers are living pretty well. This is kind of what some of the houses look like. It's the master bedroom, blah, blah, blah. It looks really nice. People are literally staying outside in tents, and this is what it looks like. This is like the Metacube house, which I guess is another company. But yeah, they're living in like these little mansions, enjoying it up. This is Bran or Bran Flakes. He's one of the creators who was in one of those houses. He's pretty big on TikTok. I think I saw his content before. He's more, at least he portrays himself as more progressive of a person. He'll talk a big game about supporting Black-owned businesses and the fact that I didn't vote for Trump. I voted for Kamala. I didn't do that. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, I don't want to say performative because I think people should be able to express their political beliefs. But I do think it kind of gets to a point where it's like, yes, we get it. We get it. We get it. You voted for Kamala. Like, you don't have to constantly, but maybe it's just the TikTok because that's just a lot of his content and it probably gets a lot of likes and people supporting him. So you kind of have to replicate that. And I just want to show you a little bit of one of his videos because this is kind of the tone he takes.
If you need help at Stagecoach, the 4 of us voted for Kamala. There are 4 Kamala voters here. If you need to seek shelter, find us immediately. We are shelter.
And I do just want to say, I do think he's right, at least in the videos. I don't disagree with what he's talking about. Like, hindsight is 2020. I'm kind of just looking at his old content versus just how blatantly and how uncaring he was when it came to Starbucks. And I'm just like, were you serious about feeling this way about these certain things? And maybe in this case he was, because this issue was specifically about things that would impact him, the ability for him to access PrEP. But when it comes to like things that are impacting other people, like the literal horrors that are going on in Gaza and in Lebanon right now, and it's like you can't connect the dots. You can't understand how this is something that's important to people. And you're just saying, we gotta live. We gotta live. Okay. Here's the infamous video of him at the Starbucks house.
I did not know if I was going to make it to Coachella this year.
Yes, you did. You're literally a content creator with 1 million followers and probably hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I don't know.
Heard nothing from brands. And 2 weeks ago, I get an invite to go with Starbucks, like vanilla iced latte that I've been drinking since I was 14 years old. Starbucks. So here we are. Walk in and look at this. So beautiful. Everything is green, which I love because green is my favorite color. So this is our room. I'm freaking out. We have our own little PJs, these goodie bags. Look at these. They're towels that look like little Starbucks cups. Ring light in room. And this is our view. Like, what?
It's not like he was spotted, at the Starbucks booth, like, thousands of influencers were. It's just the fact that you're taking a full sponsorship with Starbucks, knowing what you know, knowing that kind of your audience is a little bit more progressive. I just wonder why Starbucks thought this was a good idea in the first place. You thought his audience would like this? And there are some people defending it like, y'all acting like you wouldn't take this. I understand the concept of giving people free products, like influencers free products for them to try, to show their audience, to test. I just don't fully understand, I guess, the financial calculation of something like this, right? Because while brand does, I think, have a big audience of people, I don't necessarily understand how him getting a mansion at Coachella and like all this beautiful stuff and probably making like one TikTok about it, how is that going to make me want to go and buy it? It'd be different it was like, Starbucks is giving one person who goes to Coachella a chance to get whatever, right? Maybe people would buy into that. I don't know if it's just the aversion to giving normal people stuff, but it's just kind of like the influencer era and just only giving influencers free stuff, only giving these influencers the brand trips or whatever. It's kind of like, I don't know, do y'all actually care about your customers, or do you only care when it's people who you think are going to have a bigger reach? But yeah, people were very angry, not only because of what Starbucks has been doing, but also just generally because he kind of acted like, I didn't know if I was going to be able to go to Coachella. I just wanted to talk a little bit about why people are protesting or boycotting Starbucks. You have Starbucks Workers United basically telling people they went on a strike. They tried bargaining over months and months and months. They notched agreements that will hopefully improve the workplace. And then Starbucks said no to all these proposals and put forth an unserious economic package that did not raise wages. And then they also implemented new policies without bargaining with the union. And I just wanted to show their demands because I do think it's kind of crazy how they're being painted as like this, oh, they're so crazy. And it's like, we demand better hours to improve our staffing. We demand higher take-home pay so we can pay our bills. We demand resolution for hundreds of outstanding labor practice charges. Yeah, so Starbucks also does have a lot of charges on its belt for union busting. We're talking about millions of dollars in fines that they're paying after alleged labor law violations. Talking their CEO violating labor law. And basically, there was this whole thing, right, where Starbucks Workers United released a statement in support of Palestine. They said solidarity with Palestine. While Starbucks Workers United and Iowa City Starbucks expressed solidarity with Palestine, they did not mention Hamas. It's also important to note that these entities are separate from Starbucks. Starbucks basically said, we unequivocally condemn these attacks of terrorism, hate, and violence and disagree with the statements and views expressed by Workers United. So they're basically saying, hey, you said you support Palestinians, and we don't like that. They use this as an excuse to continue to sue, saying, hey, they're using our logo name and intellectual property. It's like, yeah, they're a union for Starbucks. But basically, the union came up and said, we stand in solidarity with the Palestinian people's right to self-determination. And as we've seen since 2023, it's kept going and going and going. 75,000 people have been killed. So it's like, I don't know, Starbucks, you kind of jumping and trying to use this as an excuse to sue your employees. Starbucks hates its union so much that it was willing to basically take the brunt of a boycott just to have an excuse to sue them. And this is a company that we're like going with. Like, no, I don't know why the Starbucks even thought this would work in my opinion. Now, I did just want to look at his apology because I thought it was kind of insane. And then we're just going to wrap up because this has gone a long time.
I want to apologize.
I'm already irritated. Perfection is the prevention of progress. Me after I get called out by my aunt. Like, imagine if I did this, right? Imagine if someone was in my comments like, Justin, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, perfection is the prevention of progress. So therefore, I don't have to be perfect. Like, this is literally just gaslighting. I can't.
I want to apologize for starting off a video saying I didn't know if I was going to go to Coachella this year because I didn't know if brands were going to send me. That did not land, and I get that. Fucking tone deaf as shit. No defense for that. I'm very open about the fact online that I am a huge liberal. I am hugely against Trump. I am hugely against ICE. I passionately believe in women's rights, trans rights, LGBTQ rights. And because of those stances, I have lost a lot of brand partnerships, and I've never cared because I've made in a lot of videos that you guys are now posting and seeing resurface. I would rather lose a partnership than make my stance on something unclear. I stand by all of that. This weekend, I partnered with a brand that, despite everything that they've seen and you've seen about my political views, was happy to partner with me. This brand and every other brand in the world has never been boycotted by me. I have never once come on this app, and if
I don't think that was the concern. I don't think the concern was that it was boycotted by you. I think it was that it was boycotted by other people.
And if I have, please find in the comments, you post the link of where I said these are the brands I'm boycotting. Every single big corporation you could think of has unfortunately had ties to the man in charge right now. Now, if your issue with the partnership I did was with how the brand handled a conflict in the Middle East, you in particular want to boycott any brand that has had ties to the situation in the Middle East. Ones here are ones that...
I'm sorry to keep pausing, but I just have to pause because, yeah, there are a lot of companies that have really horribly handled this. But I do think this is a situation where you had the opportunity for discernment to choose who you want to work with. And it's just like, how do I say this? This company specifically is just so bad, not only at its interpretation of what he calls the conflict in the Middle East, but also just it hated its union to the point that it used its statement in solidarity with Palestinians to sue the union. That is insane.
Most of us use and support. If you can confidently look through every single item on that boycott list and say you do not use any of those items, rip me apart in those comments. Like, so for real, I'm a glutton at the end of the day. And you want to get a Diet Coke, or if you want to get mac and cheese from Chick-fil-A, you have to live. And if we keep making it the end of the world, we're just going to keep losing. No one agrees.
We have to live, but so do the workers at Starbucks. So do the people whose houses are literally being destroyed in Gaza. Like, I can't. I just can't with this, oh my gosh, woe is me. And mind you, he turned off the comments. So it's like, we can't even rip you a new one in the comments. So I don't know. I just want concerts, artistry to be accessible to people. I think that supporting an artist is good and dandy and fine. And I want to support artists. I want to support good artists, but I'm also like, I don't want to have to save up months and months and months just to go to a concert where we'll get food poisoning. So I don't know. It's a conflict for me. And I also just feel like in regards to influencer culture, it's gotten off the rails. Like, it has gotten to a point where these influencers are literally just getting mansions. I don't understand how that makes people want to buy your product. But that's all for me. I will see you all next time. Thank you so much for watching my little Coachella video. Please stay safe and listen, enjoy things, whatever. If you want to go to Coachella, go to Coachella. I'll see you all next time. Bye.